I'm going to talk to you about something called propositional density. But I'll slow down and introduce myself first. My name is Lance. I'm a senior designer here at Yeti. I get to work with these wonderful folks. And yeah, thanks again for letting us use the space for the event. It's cool. And thanks to all the great speakers. I'm a little intimidated to speak after you, but I'll do my best. So yeah, so this idea of propositional density is really, really cool. If you've ever read the book Universal Principles of Design, there's a whole little section about this, which is what inspired this talk. And I tried to kind of take it a little bit further, and I'll tell you more about that. But to get started, you may have a question of what is propositional density? And so there's this idea of surface level elements. So if you have a logo and it's made up of multiple surface level elements, you could count those, and then you could divide the number of surface level elements used to create something by the number of deep propositions embedded in that particular artifact. So this is a little bit complex, but I'll try my best to break it down and give some examples. And yeah, hopefully this will be a great tool in your belt as you design. So first of all, I wanted to kind of give a little spectrum and start with words. So we can kind of look in some different directions that have not been used in kind of this idea of propositional density, as far as I know. So on the far left, we have this nonsensical word. So that doesn't mean anything to anyone, right? So if we were to try to find the propositional density of that word, we would be at a negative value already. Because if we have a single word that contains a single proposition, that would be a 1-to-1 ratio, which, interestingly enough, ha is a universal. You could go anywhere in the world and say, huh? And people will understand you. It's almost every country, every language in the world, just about. So ha has a propositional density of 1. And as a universal, you kind of make that huh? People know exactly what you mean. And then we have an idea of, little mouse. Then we have an idea of this word God. It's like, God, wow, that's a pretty, there's a lot of different things that could be wrapped up in this word God. So God has different meanings to different people, and really complex meanings to some people, depending on what, kind of cultural background you came from. Stephanie mentioned like an atheist. There's a lot of meaning for the word God for an atheist, right? So it runs the whole spectrum. And as we're thinking about propositional density, you can think about a word as carrying a lot of implicit meaning. Then we have meanings of sounds. I was going to do some audio, but too much trouble. So I don't know if you guys ever watched Darkwing Duck cartoon back in the day. So there was this line, and he said, "I'm the thing that goes bump in the night." And this is a really funny idea, because if you're at home and you're alone and it's dark and you hear a strange noise, there is a kind of this, not cognitive dissonance, but there's kind of like this gap in your understanding of what that sound could mean or what that sound could signify. And so there's this desire that we have to understand what that sound is. So it's kind of a negative connotation for that particular thing. And then again, we have this sound shh, which is a universal. It's like around the world, you could go shh, and people know what you mean. You don't have to translate that. So again, that has like a single kind of meaning. And then this is kind of funny, this sound, ka-ching. Whenever you have an app, like Cash App or something, and you get paid, it makes this sound, and this sound triggers something for us in the West. Not so universal, but it's this idea of like an old school cash register popping out, or some coins like jingling, or even like if you go way back, like a sack of money hitting the table, or someone dropping coins on a surface. So when we think about this sound, imagine the sound of this. This could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I just bought something, I just sold something. Money just exchanged hands and I watched it happen. There's a lot of meaning there. And then now we're getting to something a little more tangible for us as designers. So think about symbols. I tried to grab some pretty common symbols, and I have a quiz right here. So someone could win a book right at this moment if you tell me what that symbol is all the way over on your left on the screen. Anybody?
Is it Zeit?
Is it what?
Zeit?
Sight?
The company Zeit?
Nope. You've seen it before. You were first.
Mountain?
Nope.
Is it a laundry symbol?
It is. But you don't win. You don't win because you have to know which laundry symbol it is. This is a great clue.
Dry clean. Bleach?
Close. You're so close.
No bleach.
Okay, you're so close. I think I want to give you the book just for how close you are. So this symbol means use non-chlorinated bleach. And you've all seen it before, you have no idea what it means. It's on almost every tag on your clothing. You can probably look at the tag on your clothing and find it. So here's a symbol that for me, and for most of us, has negative value. We see it all the time. It's supposed to be a universal symbol, but non-chlorinated bleach, really? Like, what is that? So I think we should give Diana the book. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Notice here.
Yeah.
Oh, is it under here?
Hey.
Book of her choice, I would say.
You choose.
Yeah, we'll let her choose.
All right, come on then. Yeah.
Okay, so for the sake of time, I'm gonna keep moving. Alright, so right here in the middle, there's this amazing symbol for universal accessibility for people with disabilities. Wow, what a great symbol. Now the evolution of this symbol is what makes it really powerful. Because the first iteration of this symbol was a stick, like an L, with a circle around it. And this was supposed to represent people, in wheelchairs. And then the second iteration of this was like a round head and someone just sitting in a wheelchair. So it was getting a little better. It was like humanizing this particular symbol. But this latest symbol, I forgot the name of the organization that designed it, but they're awesome. They wanted to create something that was, giving dignity to people in wheelchairs. So it's like, the idea is like a wheelchair in motion. So they're moving forward. And it's so powerful, I just love it. I had to include it. But it's a really powerful symbol of, hey, we're making this experience, whatever it is, accessible to anyone with disabilities. And then the last symbol here is the tree of life. And the tree of life is again kind of like a religious symbol, but it somehow crosses over many different religious traditions. And it's this powerful symbol of life and growth and kind of like nature even, and how these roots kind of spread out into the ground and create this beautiful ecosystem of life. And so I love that because, I just had an interpretation of it. Somebody else in the room might have a more eloquent interpretation of that. But the propositional density of this tree is like, it's just about infinite. It's been around as long as time, pretty much. Now, this is my daughter. And we got her these books, and they're so amazing. They're black and white, high contrast for newborns. And so newborn babies just love these books. Like, you put a high color book in front of her with like really complex drawings, she does not care at all. And she put this in front of her, and she's just enraptured for like half an hour. Wow. This is how we get a break. This weekend. So that's little Adeline. She had to make an appearance. So just a couple more slides here. This is a logo that I designed, and I was curious if anyone had some ideas as to some deep propositions that might be embedded in it. Real quick, any thoughts? What like pops in your mind when you see this?
Soda.
Looks like a switch.
Switch, okay.
Like a button, like the
Button. Okay. Anybody else?
Like a pill.
Pill.
I think it looks like a soda pop.
Yeah.
Soda pop. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah,
The
top
original
of the can.
money, wasn't it?
Top of a can. Is that what you were saying, Stephanie?
Yeah.
Awesome. So when I'm doing an analysis of the propositional density of a particular piece of design, I'll use a structure kind of like this. So I'll break it down. Elements used to create this logo mark, 2, circle, and this OD mark. So a bird's eye view of the overall mark resembles the top of a soda can. So right on the money, Stephanie. So the idea of open design is that you're opening something and you're immersing yourself into it. So that was right on the money. The tab-like mark presents an invitation to open it. The O for open is integrated with D for design. And then the typeface used is a Berthold Grotesque, which is the same typeface used in the Creative Commons branding. And then the weight of the stroke used on circle connected letters, same as that circled CC used for Creative Commons as well. So the propositional density of this particular mark is 2.5, because we have 2 surface level propositions divided by the 5 points of meaning that are embedded in that mark. Does that make sense to everybody? Kind of? Okay. So this is the most common kind of illustration of this concept that really kind of drives home the value of propositional density as a kind of methodology. So they kind of broke down the Barack Obama's 2008 presidential campaign logo, and these are all the propositions that are embedded in here in orange, and then the surface elements are in blue. So they say that a big reason he actually won the election is because there was a high propositional density embedded in this logo. And the idea is people saw this logo and they somehow felt inspired or compelled by it, maybe without even knowing. It's kind of like the soda can idea. It's like somebody, 2 people in this crowd picked up on that idea of a soda can. And, some of us in the crowd may have kind of felt that idea, but couldn't actually articulate what the meaning was behind it. So that's something super cool about propositional density. I really love this concept, and I thank you guys for your time. That's all I have.